Hello and thank you for watching. Today's video is a special presentation. Yes. In today's video, I am interviewing Chris Stoeckel. He is a designer over at Integrity Toys. He designs the East 59th Street collection there. Now, he spills the tea in this talk about the newest collection. He talks about the Darius sculpt going into the East 59th line with the new character of Gus. He goes into the character of Gus. He also talks more about Della Roux, and he also hints at future things that might be coming for the East 59th Street line. So anyway, I had a ball talking to him, and I hope you enjoy this special presentation. Hello and welcome. Today I'm here with Chris Stoeckel. Chris, will you introduce yourself and let the viewers know who you are?
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Stoeckel. I'm a designer for Integrity Toys. I do the East 59th line of dolls. And I'm very happy to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm super excited, so please be patient with me. Like a lot of the other collectors, we were gagging when we saw this new East 59th Street line. My phone was blowing up. I was getting texts, emails, you name it, about this. People were really excited. So I wanted to start with that and ask you, what was the inspiration for this newest line or collection?
I've always really loved the 40s. I specialize mostly in 50s. I mean, obviously, but the shapes, especially like toward the end of the war with the really huge shoulder pads and Adrian, the costume designer who also did a line of ready to wear with the mitering, the insert pieces. I always really loved that stuff. But I was just never sure it was going to work in 1/6 scale. I've done it in larger scale, but especially factory constraints, it's kind of hard to know how far you can push it and still end up with a good product in the end. So I just really wanted to kind of push myself in a different direction, do something a little bit different. And I also, thought it would be a good way to introduce a new character in a different way, So that was kind of my wanting to branch out and do something a little different. So that's why I went with the 40s and that's sort of great right after the war aesthetic, right before the whole 50s new look,
One of the things that people were super excited about, I know I was on the floor practically, was one of the really popular hairstyles that we see are victory rolls from the 40s. But I really don't remember many dolls that have that hairstyle. So I wanted to know, number one, why did you choose that? And number two, why do you think that really popular hairstyle has not really appeared in other doll lines?
I'm not really sure because honest to God, it is one of the most simple hairstyles to achieve. I mean, you could take one of those basics and with a few twists and some pins, do the victory rolls with them. I mean, it really is perfectly simple. You part it back to right behind the hair, or behind the ear, I'm sorry, up to the part. You would, section off that piece. You twist it backwards so it's rolling away from the head, pull it up, turn it behind, and pin it in place. And you have a perfect curl and a perfect roll. It's simple.
If only I could do that to my own.
Well, hey. Sometimes people are worried to do hairstyles that are perceived as too stiff or too hard. It works for my line. So, and I try to let there be some hair play too, but I like constrained, I like tight hairstyle. I like period hairstyles. I like them to be, at least reasonably accurate. I'm pretty big on accuracy. It's my OCD.
Good, thank goodness. Us collectors have the same affliction, so we appreciate yours.
Thank you.
Now, another thing that really struck me when the collection came out, aside from I love the
outfits and the details that were in them. But one of the things that really struck me was that I don't really see this, but we had two African American characters and one Caucasian character in this collection.
Right.
I just thought that was really surprising. Just I don't really see that a lot. So I wanted to ask you about your choice in doing that.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a conscious choice. It was just those were literally the right characters for this collection. Although I am really, really committed to making sure that this line is very diverse. You know, that's and I just sort of I wanted to tell the story of the beginnings of relationships. So that was another reason for going back in time. So in order to get Aurelia and Victoire as best friends forever and Laird his boyfriend finally, it just made sense. So and I'm glad it was really well received.
Now, you could have chosen any character for the character of Gus to have been related to, but you specifically chose Aurelia or Lady Grey. Why did you decide to go in that direction as opposed to maybe Constance or maybe another character?
Well, I mean, again, I think the diversity thing comes into it, but by the same token, my life really influences my work. And I mean, I like to think Laird is me and Gus is Corey. So I mean, you know, I will cop to that. But so that it just sort of seemed like the natural choice, you know.
Now, one of the things that also had a lot of collectors gagging was not just the addition of Gus, but specifically the Darius 1.0 sculpt being taken out of retirement. People were super excited about that. That I mean, I could show you my phone just going through. What was the process in choosing Darius 1.0?
Well, I had the idea for the character. I knew what kind of sculpt I wanted. Never dreamt I'd be able to use that one because that is my favorite nail sculpt. Period, hands down. So my most favorite. He's beautiful. Low-key have a crush on the doll, okay? But Corey knows it's okay. But so I wasn't, I wanted to get the character out sooner. I didn't want to necessarily go through the whole sculpting process, particularly, because that's very long and drawn out, getting everything just right. So I was talking to, Vaughn about it, and he said, well, I said, I don't intend to use the Darius again if you want to use him. I'm like, absolutely, thank you, done, finished, that was it. I mean, it was really as easy as that. Because, now, people really have been asking for it. He didn't, it doesn't, and I get it, it doesn't fit the aesthetic of what he's doing sculpt-wise with his Ohm line, or not Ohm line, sorry, Monarch's line. Just like the original Victoire sculpt doesn't fit the aesthetics of what I'm doing for East 59th. That's why I resculpted Victoire. The two styles didn't make sense. However, I really felt that, Augustus, the Darius sculpt really works, with what I'm going for. So the rest is history. I've got him now.
Yeah. On behalf of almost all collectors out there, I'll say thank you. We appreciate that. We're excited to see him.
I'm excited. Back. I'm really excited.
So
I also made the decision to leave the original, screening because, I wanted him to look just like that, So it is the original screening. It's the first, as far as I know, it was the first one. I know there were two different ones, two slightly different ones, but I used the original one.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to go back and take a look and see.
I believe there was one, it might just be an eye direction or something, but this was the one when I looked, up the various, the various incarnations of him, because I didn't own one from back then. I didn't collect boy dolls in those days, so I didn't have him. But this was the one that really spoke to me. So this was that was the screening that I used.
Now, we're talking about kind of going back in time with going back with an old sculpt and also going back with the original storylines of the main characters. Are we going to stay in that period for a while and maybe explore some of the backgrounds of the other characters from the East 59th Street? Or is this just kind of a capsule thing and we're going to continue on the normal trajectory
I think
for them?
for now, I mean, I don't know that we will stay in 45. Probably not. I may revisit it at some point. I kind of, I want to explore different things, you know, because like so there's a very different silhouette in 1945. There's a very different and a different one in 49 or 47 to 49. Then, you know, mid 50s to late 50s. Styles kept and shapes kept progressing. So I kind of sort of want to keep it fresh by jumping around a bit. But still keeping the story so that it makes sense, you know. This was kind of a flashback, like a flashback in a movie. You know, that being said, I really want to try and push myself to do bigger and better and more fabulous, you know. Nobody wants the same old thing again and again. So, you know, I want to keep it fresh.
So we might see flashbacks later on with maybe
yeah.
other characters, but it's just
Possibly.
right now. Awesome, because I really want to find out more about Evelyn and Constance and what they're back. I know they're hiding something, so I want to know.
Oh, well, I couldn't make anything scandalous for Evelyn because she is named after my Grammy, so you know.
Rats.
but
right.
You know, Constance, on the other hand, she's kind of a wild card, so you never know.
I'm super excited about that. One of the things I also wanted to ask you about, going back to diversity, was the addition of the Della Roux character. Now, I know there were a lot of fans out there who, or at least friends of mine, who said they had wanted like an African-American skin tone Victoire.
Right.
And we basically got that with Della Roux. I wanted to ask you about your process in coming up with Della Roux. What was the inspiration there?
Well, for one thing, I being that my dolls are very character driven, I did not feel comfortable at all with doing a black Victoire. That to me just didn't sit well with me. So I agree that she's, and I love her in that. I think the sculpt works really well in that skin tone. However, in order for me to do it, she needed to be her own character. It needed to be, it isn't sort of like, I guess I liken it to, all right, say Barbie, for example. The character of Barbie is kind of a universal character. There's not a lot of backstory. Barbie couldn't be anything.
Whereas she could be any of us.
Yeah. Whereas my characters are specific people. So to me, doing, you know, Victoire in that skin tone smacked of blackface, to be honest, or a dipped doll, you know.
I can see that.
So I not only did her as her own character, but she has her own dedicated face paint. It's not Victoire. When I had it done, I specifically said I want the family resemblance, but not the same paint. So, and I think that works pretty well, because I honestly think they look like sisters rather than you know, the same person with a different skin tone.
Yeah, one of the things that I've always done, I've been collecting dolls since I was a kid, and when I would get like two dolls with the same sculpt but in different skin tones, I would just say, oh, well, this is her sister. They have the same bone structure and everything, so it's her sister, and that's that. So I kind of appreciated that. I know that I did a video reviewing Della Roux, and a lot of my viewers were super excited about it. Some of them didn't get their hands on that doll, but to me that says the doll was really popular. So I want to say
sold out very quickly, I will say.
Thank you. So we'll be seeing more of her in future lines?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, not even a question.
Now, with the addition of Gus now in the storyline, will we be seeing more of Laird?
At some point, yes. At some point, yes. I mean, I see, that's the thing. I have to balance numbers of characters. We don't, like due to everything, we're doing capsule collections. So I have X number of dolls that I can get out in a year. So I'm trying to strive to get more diversity into the line and less repeats of characters. I'm trying to use my numbers wisely, if that makes sense. Once I've accomplished what I want to get done, then I can start repeating, etc. And that's not to say that I won't repeat before that, but there are some things that I have in the works that I want to get going before I say go back and maybe revisit that. And let's face it, I am really not a menswear designer. It's not my best strong suit. So, that always makes me a little nervous too. But we will see him again at some point. Yes. I have not given up.
Will we see more male characters maybe further on down the line with the
Possibly. Possibly. I mean, the more I get comfortable with it, the more, yes. I also don't want to get too top heavy with too many characters either. But that being said, there's still some things that I need to get, across. So I know that sounds a little cryptic, but you'll just have to wait and see.
One of the things that to me was really revolutionary for integrity in the W Club was the addition of the new basics line, where we got anyone had access to dolls that normally are pretty hard to get. The public had access to them. It's $99. They were basic. The first ones that we got were Victoire, which I was totally excited about. Will we be seeing more characters from the East 59th Street line in the basics line?
I would, myself personally, I would love to do more. I think that, doll collecting sometimes gets a little, I don't want to say predatory, but it certainly is very elite. Well, you know what I mean? Like new collectors have a hard time getting stuff. I mean, I know I've been frustrated with new lines. You just, sometimes you can't get it because there are people that have been doing it forever and the edition sizes are small, you can't get them. So like with these, for the most part, they're going to be available. Whether you get it in the first run or the second run, you're going to get it if you really want it. So, I'm glad that we're doing something that anybody can get, the public, it just, to me, it's necessary in a hobby where, people do hoard things and want everything, even if they just want it because it's going to sell for more, as opposed to somebody getting it because they truly love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that I think the basics line really speaks to a need within, at least in our company, because the stuff sells out so fast, people don't have a chance to get everything, or, dip their toe in the water of this crazy world of integrity toys. So at least with the basics, everybody can.
And it's at a basic price of $99. I mean, that's a deal. You get an articulated doll, and you get an integrity doll. So,
all right, well,
that was one of the things I was super excited about, because I have some friends who don't collect integrity, and part of it is because of the price point. So they were super excited about all the $99 releases. These were some of their first integrity dolls that they've gotten, and it's just really exciting to see them, kind of enjoying the hobby as well.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Plus, I mean, because they're basics, people will play with them. I hate the idea that dolls are like left in their little boxed tombs, That's why I put extra pieces. So people, if they want to make the looks in the pictures, they got to take them out the box. They aren't going to get the look of the doll if they don't play with them.
Exactly. Now, speaking of taking dolls out of their tombs, of course, Alysa Rodriguez here.
Well, hello, dear.
She says hello. She has a note for me that she wanted me to read to you. So I'm just going to open her note.
All right.
She says, "Hi, Chris." She's so polite. My great-grandparents, Rosa and Edmundo Rodriguez, always told me stories about Victoire. Will their stories appear in the East 59th Street collections?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we might have to look into that. I don't know. Should I ask them?
Please.
What do you guys say? What do you guys say? I said, well, you know, they're up for friends sometimes. We'll see.
She says she recognizes them from old photographs.
Really?
Enough for her and her foolishness. So anyway, I really want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I have had a million questions for you for the longest time. So the fact that I get to ask them personally is just super exciting to me.
No, it's my
and
pleasure.
I can't wait for people to learn more about this line.
Yeah, well, it makes me very happy that people have responded to it so well. You know, I like the being able to, you know, in a small way, make a statement, you know, doing the diversity in the line. I want my doll line to be like my own family. My family is quite large. There's 12 kids, 9 of which are adopted. So we have our own little rainbow tribe. So my aim is to make sure that my doll family looks like my real family. So,
well, as
I'm
a collector,
happy that
personally, I just want to say that it feels really good when you see yourself represented in dolls.
Absolutely.
A lot of
Everyone
dolls that
should be.
I buy because they're so beautiful, but when you see them and you feel that connection and that representation, I just can't tell you how awesome that it makes me feel. So just for me, I just wanted to say thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I mean, and that's why that's one of the reasons that I have so much input with the backstories, because not only do you want a good physical representation, you also want a good representation as a person. So, you know, maybe I am a little bit of a Pollyanna, but I want all my characters to be upstanding people. So you know, that's my idea. So I like my little stories.
We will take it. I love it.
Okay,
I
good.
absolutely love the stories so much. I can't even tell you. So any last words or remarks that you'd like to make before we end?
I'm just really grateful you all like the dolls. And it really makes me happy. Makes me happy, and I will continue to do my best to bring fabulous dolls out to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today.
Anytime.
Have a great day. I love you. Thank you.
You too. Mwah.
Mwah.
That was really exciting talking to Chris, and we learned a lot about the East 59th Street line, so I'm very excited about that. So for more upcoming interviews and reviews, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you get notified of when I come up with new videos like this one. Also, if you enjoy this, make sure that you hit the like button. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.